Welcome to Let's Play another Metroid 2 remake, or AM2R as I'm going to be calling it because that's a bit shorter, and actually the title of the game. It's a project I've been following for more years than I can accurately remember, and due to certain events that I'll outline in a minute, parts of the website have been wiped, so I can't look back quite as easily as I would have hoped to have gotten an exact date. May just leave the background music going. Okay. For years, and more years, the fans of the Metroid series have been begging Nintendo to remake Metroid 2. As of yet, there has not been one, and there's been no real word on it. So, a fan of the Metroid series, Dr. M64 is his username, began working on this years ago to create a faithful, updated version of Metroid 2, taking some notes from later games on things that could have been improved on: a map, a upgrade screen, Super Metroid's toggleable upgrades, which was one of my favorite things ever. Well, the project finally came to fruition, completion, or version 1. I mean, I guess it's never complete. I just got version 1.1 this morning, which fixed a bug with the gravity suit. But within 48 hours of version 1 being released, Nintendo pounced, removed the download links, as any reasonable business would, protecting their intellectual property. The game was released for free because you couldn't sell it, because that would cross copyright laws a bit more severely. Naturally, being the internet, there's not a lot one can do to fully stomp something out, especially something fans have been waiting on for so long. If they had not made a remake of Majora's Mask, I assume the same thing would have happened eventually for that, because that was another game fans have been begging for many years. For me, it's slightly special. Metroid 2 was the first Metroid game I ever played, and actually the first video game I ever owned. When I was a small child, I saved up and spent my entire savings on a Game Boy, Metroid 2, and Kirby's Dream Land 2. I actually didn't finish Metroid 2 until many years later because I got stuck. The map of Metroid 2, without having a viewable map, could be somewhat hard to navigate, but partly because, due to data restrictions, many areas were cut and pasted. The original Metroid game suffered from this a little bit too. It was a way to conserve data usage because the cartridges did have a limited storage capacity, but it caused me as a small child to get very lost. When I did go back years later and play the original Metroid game, I ended up having to make out a map as I went because of that reason. But since the game the remake was finally completed, and I managed to get hold of a copy of the file, I just thought I would go ahead and make a Let's Play of it. Just because. And I know there's potentially people out there that might want to see it, or that might find interest in it, or discover the remake as a result of this. But I'm going to go ahead and start the game. I have started it once to get the controllers set up and everything, because nobody wants to watch me spend 5 minutes doing that. But I'm going to go ahead and start. Gonna say also, I really like how the menu looks. You know, it really flows nicely. I'm probably just gonna go ahead and set it on hard. I don't know what changes between the difficulty settings. Metroids. Numerous incidents in the past have brought to light the highly destructive power of these life forms, spreading fear across all known planetary systems. Hoping to secure peace in the galaxy, the Galactic Federation orders the extermination of the Metroid species. I was the best candidate for the job. It's my favorite music in the background, too. Once again, I find myself standing alone against the Metroid menace. What horrors await me within the depths of their homeworld? Also going to go ahead and put a slight spoiler warning here. I may mention things that tie in... Sorry, the music changed. Surprised me. I may mention things that tie into future and past Metroid games, so if you've not played Metroid Fusion, just a slight spoiler warning there. But yes, this is SR388, home planet of the Metroids. Look, there's a toggle button for the morph ball. Grab it, wall grab. A button for diagonal aim from Super Metroid. Let's see if I remember. There's a log menu, power suit, options, map. I'm gonna go ahead and go through the lore/log menu since we've already got that. Primary objective, exterminate all Metroid organisms on planet SR388. Secondary objective, locate and bring assistance to the Federation research and rescue teams. Planet SR388, a remote planet, absent on most galactic charts. Federation research indicates it's the natural homeworld of the Metroid species. Not actually the natural homeworld. We'll get into that in a little bit. Its outer crust is hollowed out with massive cave systems which are home to an ecosystem that is yet to be fully studied. First expedition to SR388 revealed the existence of Chozo ruins. That will be tied into as well. For years, the Federation declared SR388 unsafe to initiate new expeditions. However, after recent orbital scans failed to detect any Metroid presence on the surface, the dispatch of a research vessel was finally approved. This crew's mission was to inspect the region where the species was first encountered and reaffirm that none remained. Their next objectives were to explore the nearby Chozo ruins and study SR388's other wildlife. Communication with the team was cut off and only a distress signal managed to reach HQ. The search and rescue team is an elite combat group consisting of heavily armed soldiers. Their mission, locate and extract any surviving personnel from the missing research team. The group reported finding a specialized energy sensor at the campsite of the missing team. Its data confirmed the Federation's suspicions. Metroids still thrive within the planet. These findings were sent to HQ to be analyzed while the group continued their search for survivors. Contact was soon lost with them as well. The dominant species of SR388, the Metroids, hunt for any form of energy found in natural or synthetic organisms, leaving behind deceased husks after feeding. They're highly resistant to conventional weapons and possess great adaptability in foreign environments. Estimates suggest a small number of Metroids set loose on populated planet would lead to extinction of any present life forms. As such, they've drawn much attention from the space pirates who have repeatedly tried to use them as bioweapons. Chozo, the lost race. The Chozo were an ancient and mysterious avian race. Incredibly advanced, they colonized many worlds, spreading their message of peace throughout the universe. There are historical records and legends of Chozo visiting other races with whom they shared their knowledge and wisdom. These brief encounters led many primitive cultures to their present-day glory. Some say they helped consolidate the very foundations of the Galactic Federation. The fate of the race is unknown. Evidence suggests they slowly vanished from the cosmos over the course of centuries. All that remains on each planet they inhabited are the ruins of their once glorious civilization. Native species. Not much is known about SR388's ecosystem. Prior reports describe the fauna as being very hostile. Nearly all observed animals have been carnivores, with even the smallest species showing dangerous traits. The harsh environment and presence of so many predators may have forced an evolutionary arms race, perpetuating a cycle of violence. Extreme caution is advised. When it mentioned SR388 being the Metroid's native homeworld, one could debate that slightly because they're not actually a natural organism, but one that the Chozo created and put on SR388 to combat another life form which was an even greater threat. A life form that would come up in Fusion, of course. And that life form is one of the reasons that the Metroids were designed to be highly adaptive, resistant to weapons, insatiable appetites, the ability to grow and adapt to environments. I think I mentioned that twice. And the fact that they feed on life energy. Still getting used to the buttons. Dang it. Go away, bro. Nope, I do not have bombs. Okay, I'm switching that real quick. Apparently my muscle memory is having a fit with that, so... I keep tapping the left shoulder trying to aim down, so apparently my muscle memory is telling me to change that. Using a joystick instead of also slightly flexing, but I get used to it. Okay. Honestly don't remember most of the map of the original Metroid game. Metroid 2 game. I do know that in many ways... Yeah, I recognize this spot. I do know that in many ways that the map of this game remained true to the original. But with all these sprite changes and such, like actually being able to tell the difference between water and acid is a wonderful thing. And I do have missiles. In the original, of course, it was on a Game Boy, so color was not a thing. It was difficult sometimes to differentiate certain things based on textures. Water and acid had a very slight difference. Of course, just jumping in it was a good way to tell. I think the number of dots in it lets you know. I have to go back and look, it's been so many years. Good to see some lava so early. Oh. Alpha Metroid. Ow. As much a pain as ever. Only vulnerable on the lower side. I'm as bad at aiming as ever. Ow. Well, it really improved it from the, I did defeat an Alpha Metroid once in one of the earlier betas, because that was as far as one of them went. Oh, she's looking around. That was something that was a little bit quirkier in the earlier version. It had a bad habit of staying real low to the ground, making it hard to hit it with missiles, and they worked on that later. Oh, hang on. What? Oh, is that something? Okay. Life cycle. Scans of the native Metroids reveal their most common form in prior incidents as merely the larval stage. While there are records of extreme mutations triggered by space pirates using abnormal stimuli, Phazon, the Metroid homeworld of SR-388 is seemingly the only environment where the species can naturally transform. It's due to a specific type of radiation. I believe it's beta radiation the planet is bathed in. Still getting used to the buttons of jumping through the menu room. Alpha Metroid. The Alpha Metroid has gained immunity to cold temperatures. The loss of several nuclei within its green membrane has left it vulnerable to concussive blasts. A plated exoskeleton partly covers it. The organism emerges from the molting of its larval form. Although aggressive, it is relatively weak at this stage, and its new appendages have yet to grow to their full length and strength. Basically, it lost its weakness to the ice beam, but no longer has to be frozen to be damaged by concussive blasts, and can also only be hurt from underneath. Oh look, the lava has receded. Maybe it's lava now. Maybe it was all... I could have swore it was acid. Who knows, I may be wrong. I could have swore it used to be some kind of caustic substance, but it may have been lava. It was hard to tell, it was just a black spotted liquid in the original. No frog. I I say they move. I have to say, I keep finding myself forgetting that this is fan-made. It's just that well put together. The controls feel just... You could put it side by side with a Nintendo-made game, and it's really hard to tell the difference. There is a slight bit of vertical tearing, but that's because I'm playing it in window mode. I had to turn VSync off. Well, it turns itself off when you play it in window mode, but the recording software didn't want to play nice with full screen mode. But we're at 15 minutes. We're at a nice path diverging point, and I'm going to go ahead and pause here, so I will see you next time.